Hello, sisters. Today we are sponsored by Coke. No, I'm joking. Yeah. So before we get going, to quickly address Apostle Person being, a true sister, was like, you told us to yell at you today if you streamed. So the thing that's happened is I decided if I got all of my chores and like errands done that I could stream. So all I have left to do is put away my laundry. Like I did my laundry, I changed my bedding, I went to the grocery store, I cooked my food, I did like clean Momo's like litter box super thorough. Like I did all the things I need to do. So it's now acceptable for me to do this with the caveat that I go to bed at a decent hour. I figure if I start at 5:30 and I do it for 1 or 2 hours, I can be unconscious by 9 p.m., which is like what I need to wake up at 4:30. So the deaf bartender, I think you've been interacting with me on Twitter a little bit. Nice to see you here. Celia Rasmussen, nice to see you. I think I recognize your name, maybe I'm wrong. Benny, welcome to the channel. Yeah, update or like FYI for those of you who are newer here. Men are not allowed to comment in the live chat or the comments. I'm not amazing at it, but with the actual YouTube comments, I try to delete the ones that are by men. It's the internet, so 100%. And the live chat, this way. The live chat, is it this way? I mean, to me, it looks like it's this way. In the live chat, we have the Exclusionary Enclave of Feminist Fellowship, aka the moderators, who will kick the men's out. OMG, Lorelai is here, guys. Lorelai is here. I know it's late for you guys in the UK. Bean Sprout is here with a little cat thing. Eliza is here. All the guys are here. Okay, so yes, before we get going, well, this is the thing. How can we get going when we don't know what we're talking about? We have two options, guys. Hey, Nix. Sea Wolf. Hey, Aqua. So, what are we going to talk about today? Someone sent me an unlisted video of Exulansic and Brittany, Slightly Twisted Female, in the same room together, which I was like, whoa, because don't they live on like the opposite coast of America? Talking about AGP Gate. Off the bat, who gave you the authority to like name it? Is it them who named it AGP Gate? It just, the audacity to me, I was like, whoa, that's interesting. Unless someone else named it AGP Gate and they're just responding, but yeah. Also, is AGP Gate like the recent thing with this Phil Illy guy, or is AGP Gate like the entire concept of all of these GCs who are like pro or anti coddling the AGPs? I don't know. So I was like, let's watch that. The thing is, this stream is 3.5 hours long. However, the person who sent this to me, shout out to you, sister, sent me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. She sent me 10 timestamps to go along with this video. So I thought what we could do is like watch like the first 15 minutes to get like the tone, and then we could like jump to the timestamps. Because like I said, I don't want to be on YouTube for more than an hour or two tonight. So that's option one. Option one is the Exulansic Brittany stuff. Also, I feel kind of weird about it because Izzy, it's been 1,000 years. What's up? Lesbos, what's up? Lilith, so nice to see all you guys. I feel kind of weird about doing that one just because I bet a bunch of you like Exulansic and Brittany, and I'm not here to be like they're horrible human beings or whatever. Obviously, it's like never, even with Stella, it's not what I was doing, right? I was responding directly to what she said and saying, my opinion is that that's stupid. My opinion is that that doesn't make any sense, right? Like, that's what I was doing. So I don't want you all to be like, well, I liked Benji, and then she started shitting on these women I don't like. I've made it no secret that I basically have, like, disagreements with the behavior and opinions of, like, literally everyone on the internet. So I don't think it's really, like, shocking that I will, like, do a response video to someone. I know a bunch of you like Pussy Parker, for example, and I have issues with a bunch of stuff that she's done. Doesn't mean you can't watch me, right? So I feel a little bit weird about it. I'm trying to think of my actual interactions with them. The last interaction I had with Slightly Twisted Female, I think I blocked her or she blocked me. I don't remember. I just was like, this is stupid. We got into like a fight on Twitter that she thought the nuclear family was the best thing ever for mothers and children. And I was like, well, according to radical feminism and also me, I don't think so, and here's why. And she was like, you just hate mothers. And I was like, I don't hate mothers. But like that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. And I can't remember if she was trying to say that she's radical feminist. I think she was trying to say like she knows the radical feminist truth and I'm like stupid or something. And I was like, okay, I guess. And then that was that. Yeah, that was a long time ago though. I think that was like last winter. I don't remember. I don't think I've ever had much direct interaction with Exulansic. I don't know. Useless Strawberry says, say whatever you like. You have every right to speak your mind. Prove that we are pro free speech. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I did see this. The option 2, I've now decided we're going to do option 1. Option 2, which I think we'll just do tomorrow. Depending on how my day goes, I'm not going to pre-schedule it. Like it's going to be if I have time. Tuesday, I absolutely will not have time. And Wednesday, we're scheduled to finish reading Feminine by Susan Brownwell. Option 2, which I think we'll do tomorrow or maybe on Friday, depending on my schedule, was Stella put out like an apology, like essay about the whole like lesbians get turned on by wearing men's clothes or whatever the fuck it was, a sexual charge from role playing as men, whatever the fuck it was she said. And I honestly am pretty just like done with Stella. It's all pretty stupid and inane. Beansprout sent me the apology and she just sent me like 2 or 3 quick sentences like what she thinks is going on, and it just sounds like super fucking dumb. So I'm like, you know, Turf, you've got Turf Mail says, indeed, Exulansic took that photo with Illy and then things cracked out from there. Mr. Julia Malone, no idea who the fuck that is, went to that con and didn't get much attention and then wrote a piece to get more traction. Oh, is that what Phil Illy's like name is? Okay, well. All right, so let's do this shit. I'm gonna reorganize my screen for a second though before we get going, because it's weird having like all these different windows open on my screen. It's not usually how I don't like when I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Oh, Beansprout says, FYI, apology, not apology. Yeah, I thought she would just be like, you know, prevaricating and being like, I meant this, but like you guys are too stupid to understand, and here's why I'm gonna explain it with bigger words or some shit. I just assumed. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna watch like the first bit of this. Like I said, this stream is 3.5 hours long, so there's no fucking way we're doing that because my goal is to get off of the internet in about 2 hours. Probably means more like 3, but you know, like as long as I'm unconscious by 9 or 10, I'll be okay to get up at 4 in the morning. So bro, who the fuck is that? Okay, send me like an email or something, like a thing on Twitter. Send me links who this guy is. Okay. Although the other reason I kind of want to do this video instead of, I don't really want to do videos with men in them on my channel. I don't want to spend like my entire life talking about men. I'd rather talk about what these women have to say than about an actual man. You get what I mean? So that's kind of why we ended up with these 2 options today. Both of them are like women things, saying things and me responding to women. So I'm not sure about this Julia Malone guy. Do I actually know who that is, maybe? I don't fucking care. Okay, let's watch this thing. Do we like that? How about that? Is this the one? Is this the one we like? I don't know. Okay. Also, oh no, they're not on StreamYard. Maybe she's on the paid StreamYard. I was just like, am I using StreamYard to stream a video streamed on StreamYard? Like, that's kind of meta. Okay. Let's go for it.
Welcome back to A Slightly Twisted Female. I'm your host, Brittany Rue. A lot of people over the past several days regarding AGP Gate have been asking me to, you know, challenge Exulansic on her role in all of this. So I decided to do one better. I went and wrangled her down, got her here so that we can all, you know, have a big confrontation session. No, but I do think
she put a bag over my head. Pulled me into a van. It was awful.
I did.
Help. Send help.
I did. We will, yeah. I mean, I didn't. I'm not going to self-incriminate. No, I cannot be held liable for anything that I say.
Well, we shall see.
So anyway, all right. So like, just as like, you know, we totally had a really fun day yesterday. And if anybody remembers the like special place that I took Jennifer. We stopped by a really cool place in Trent.
Doesn't really matter, but who's Jennifer?
Had some fun, and we talked about it. And it's like, literally, it's okay.
Bean Sprout says, for context, before this stream, did they agree or disagree? I think they disagree. I think that's the whole point of the stream, is that like we can get along even though we disagree. I think, but like, you know.
Yeah, you guys, at the end of the day, other women are the ones that you should be trying to like work through and have discussions with. You know what I mean? It's like,
Can they all hear us? Also, we should do a sound check.
Can you guys hear me?
We got two mics happening.
Oh, can you hear? Here, can you hear both of us? Oh, I don't know if your mic. I don't know if it'll recognize two mics. I think I forgot to add it in. Thanks. Guys.
Or I mean, if your mic is picking up both of us, then
it probably is. Hold on, sorry. Give us a second, guys. Yeah. It's only one. You know, and a lot of people have been like, oh, well, you know, you're talking about Laura about this whole AGP Gate, who, for those who don't know, Laura Becker is the woman who was shown alongside Phil Illey, who's this like super creep who wears like a crushed blue ball gown to every interview. And it was at Gen Spect. He's an author of a book called Auto Heterosexuality, where he's basically making the case to like destigmatize autogynephilia. It's super unrigorous, super unscientific, whatever. But it's like, so anyway, so Gen Spect had posted a photo of him wearing what could reasonably called fetish attire to a wider lens convention or whatever. And this woman, Laura Becker, who's a detrans woman, who I think there's different people have said different things. I've heard 2 years detransition. I've heard 4. Either way, it's fairly fresh. Who stood and took a picture with him. And then Gen Spect made the insane decision to then post this picture. It's like it could have stayed in the photo roll, Gen Spect. But they decided to not only post the picture, tag him in, and it was like spotted as if we're at the red carpet seeing celebrities. Phil Illey, author of, and then plugged his book. And so, you know, a lot of women very reasonably were like, fuck this guy and fuck you for like promoting him. And rather than just kind of like fade into the background, which I think she could have easily done, Laura Becker decided to go on basically like a tour de force to, you know, check a lot of the women who were having issues with it. So,
okay, I'm gonna let them like keep talking for a bit to set up the context for the video, because as you may or may not be aware, I don't know a lot of the context for the video, so I actually appreciate this. 2 things to say right now. First of all, Brittany is actually like a really compelling speaker on camera. So far, like, yeah, I like that. The other thing is, I don't know Laura Becker, never talked to her. Seen her art, looks cool. Don't know a lot of like her political opinions or anything. I know she interacts with men on Twitter, which obviously for me is like, don't do that, but it's like, you know, her life. I will say though, that if she genuinely likes this guy, then it's like her right to defend him on Twitter. I might not like it, and Brittany might not like it, but it's definitely her right to do that, you know?
I said, Laura, I think that you should consider that your, you know, history of critical thinking has not been stellar. So maybe consider that you have something to learn from these women and listen before you just knee-jerk react. So Exulansic here, who I've said many times on this air, that is, you know, is a friend of mine, who's one of the first people that like I really looked up to in this movement, you know, so we've had.
Okay, so obviously I'm out of the loop. I didn't realize they were friends. I thought that Brittany was like, rad femmes are trash and they're evil and stuff, and they're heterophobic and they hate moms, and that Exulansic was like, I know the true radical feminism, I'll teach you. Obviously it's been like a long time since I've been online, but that's the last that I remember of these two. I don't remember them having any interaction with each other. Now they seem to be BFFs. It's very fascinating to me.
Had a relationship going on 2 years. We've spent time together like in person, and it's like, you know, I am mature enough to realize that like I have friends in my life that sometimes I don't agree with. Doesn't mean that I don't, they're not still my personal friend. Exulansic here is not an AGP. Exulansic, right? She's not the one who's like the true threat to women and children. She's not some guy who was participating in his fetish at GenSpect, So it's like I can have a conversation with my friend and be like, hey, like probably not like, the move I would have made. Like where was your head on that? And that's what we're gonna do. It's like actually that it's all good. People have the right to be upset. So anyways,
they don't.
Well, no, they
taking away their rights.
Right. So again, people ask me to check Exulansic, and I'm like, I'm not really sure what anyone wants me to check her on because I wasn't following her part of the saga. This Laura, person who was shown in the picture, I think failed an opportunity to kind of step up and be like, hey, I kind of see where you guys are coming from or whatever, or just stayed in the background. But I saw her comments and I responded to her reaction to other women. I didn't see that from Exulansic, right? So, what have you been like? What has your been experience? Exulansic and I have talked for the past couple of days, right? I have a better understanding of where she's coming from on this. We can have this conversation, but so how have people been treating you? Let's start there.
Oh, it's. I mean, I described it as a mob a couple times. It was a lot of people in a very short period of time saying some very sweeping things, some of which I didn't appreciate, and some of which I was very confused by.
Yeah.
So it's just like a lot of like very sweeping, hurtful condemnations.
So one of the things that I want to step up and right now state, I like aggressively like push back on anybody who thinks that they're within the like arena of it being at all appropriate to tell this woman things like she's like sucking like what Phil Illy off by doing or whatever. Some like really
just something to that effect. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, why don't you go suck him off some more or something like that? First of all, and I like strongly condemned.
I got invited to fantasize about what porn he had watched the night before.
Yeah, somebody. Yeah, right.
Like, okay. No, I'd rather not.
I mean, but
I'm going to choose not to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And I want to say that I've had people make like wildly, sexually degrading comments to me in the past. And I've had rad femmes do it to me. I've had rad femmes say some really fucking heinous things to me as a heterosexual mother who's given birth and who's been in heterosexual relationships, whatever. And
Okay, I'm just going to say, I'm not going to name names because I know some of them watch or hate watch. But there are definitely like women who call themselves radical feminists who use wildly misogynistic language to refer to women who have sex with men, women who have just had sex with men in the past and are not currently having sex with men, or women who are phallocentric or like male oriented in their value systems. So I'm sure that's happened to them.
It's like, if we're going to make really disgusting comments at women in terms of like, male, the trauma that we all collectively have towards, men and their sexual shit, that's not okay. Okay. Like let's have some standards with it. So I did see some of the comments. She read to me some of the comments that were honestly fucking disgusting. And like, I condemn that at like the highest fucking level. Yeah.
It looks like and hi everyone. I see
Genevieve is here. Genevieve Gluck is my
wanting to talk about whether children have paraphilias.
Genevieve Gluck, I love you. I think you're amazing. I will say that all the time, but you are killing it, and I'm so grateful for you. And every time I see your like name in my thing, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, even though James Lindsay won't retweet Redux anymore, I think somehow your publication was.
Oh no, we all lost James. James and his Star Wars kid. So anyway, I am sorry that like for some of the ways that you've been talked to, and like so the way, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, right? But you sort of the way you like kind of described your initial reaction to like, what are they mad about? Start there. Like, what are people telling you that they're mad that you did? Post the picture of.
I had people suggesting that I should have walked out of the conference and just like, no, I refuse to share space with this person. And somebody else said that I should have like started like a conflict with him, and I don't think either of those would have been in my interest.
I probably would have started a conflict with him.
Yeah,
I think I can confidently say, yeah, and then I would go live.
A whole drama.
I would have gone live on a slightly twisted female, my platform, be like, "This is GenSpect. You know, check it out right here. They're throwing women out for contesting, you know, a man who's engaging with his fetish." So I would have welcomed all the smoke. But that's me personally, and that's my temperament. I don't think it's okay for us to expect that from women who. It's not like Exulansic was like, "I'm signing up to come to like." Hang out with Phil unless you knew he was gonna be there. And I don't know, what was your reaction?
So she did nothing wrong, but it's okay that she did it because she didn't plan it ahead. Like, I don't know if that's stupid for me to say, but at this point that seems dumb for them to say. Also, this is going pretty slow. If I was watching this by myself, I would probably like up the speed to like 1.5 speed, but I don't want you guys to be like left behind. Also, I feel I would like to start skipping ahead in the video. I'm not sure.
Actually, see, I don't know. I saw Laura Becker calling other women cunts and hags and bitches and stuff for, you know, them speaking out against Phil. Mm-hmm. And for whatever else, she called me a cunt, which, like, okay, you know.
And either withdrew or lashed out or otherwise tried to find some way to process what felt like betrayal, abandonment, all these really strong negative emotions that were confusing in light of like what had actually gone down, how the proportionality of it. So it was I think it was stressful for everybody that went to the conference to suddenly like go from focusing on like other things, because it was a very like diverse.
Wait, actually, I have a whole fucking question. Why did Exulansic go to this conference? Bean Sprout sent me the like program for who was there, including like the names of their panels and the bios that they left, and I recognize most of the names. The vast majority of them are like conservative, libertarian, anti-feminist types. I guess that Exulansic is in her post-feminist era, it seems to me, like from being on the internet for 3 days or whatever. But like, I don't know what Brit's thoughts are on GenSpect and the GenSpect conference. But to me, I'm like, why did she go at all if it's all this anti-feminist shit? Like, is she just going to gender critical things that happen to get footage for her channel now? Or Izzy says no, I didn't think she was a speaker. Izzy says networking. I guess she wasn't a speaker or anything. Yeah, no, I didn't think she was, but it was pretty expensive to go. I'm assuming she's not high profile enough or didn't like stream the whole thing or anything that they would let her go for free. Like, I'm wondering about that.
Array of speakers and topics to having everybody enraged about this one thing and condemning us, like saying like, well, you're just no friend of women, and you know, unsubscribe. I'm gonna follow you.
Did she lose? Okay, yeah, Lorelai is like legit. Yeah, she might have gone to see what they have to say about transitioning minors. True, but I still find it strange, like, to fly all the way to another state and buy a ticket and get a hotel and everything. Like, I don't know, whatever. Oh, really? I would love to. Okay, someone give me money. I'll go. I would love to go to a SEGM conference. Bean Sprout says there was a separate conference ran by SEGM that was apparently much better, and actually the main issue was about medicalization, etc. SEGM are like professionals. Like, they're serious people. I like them a lot. Lavender, so great to see you. Strawberry says Brit and Exulansic have fallen out. Brit is very anti-GenSpect. Yeah, I'm pretty anti-GenSpect, fucking obviously. Can we what is the date on this? I don't even know how to use YouTube anymore. Hello? Oh, here, November 15th. So they've fallen out since this video. All right. we're gonna start skipping ahead to the timestamps that were provided to me. If you have a different timestamp, she says, "How have I never heard of SEGM? How can that be? I'm not turfing hard enough. Shame." No, they're a Society for Evidence-Based Gender Medicine. They're like doctors and like scientific researchers and psychologists and psychiatrists and stuff who like they're actual professionals, so they're not concerned with PR at all. They don't like go online trying to make videos about shit and like, you know, they do have a Twitter where they'll tweet out stuff like, so they'll do like peer reviews of stuff and they'll publish papers on stuff. Or they'll just have like on their website like comments on a paper or a study that's been published. They don't do attention grabby stuff, and they don't offer like direct client like GenSpec. You can like contact them and pay them to do stuff, where they'll hold like retreats where you can go and like pay them to like give you services. SEGM doesn't do that. They're just like actual professionals. So yeah. Wait, what? Sierra blocked Brittany 2 days after this vid? No fucking way. Beanster says, do they run stats on gender? I can't remember. I definitely used to know who Stats on Gender was associated with, but now I can't fucking remember. It's been too long. Okay, let's keep watching this. Yeah, that's why I stopped the video. If you have a timestamp from this video that you would like to, like, you know, for me to go to that timestamp, let me know. But Lavender, how can it be lesbian drama? Isn't Brit, like, wildly lesbophobic? Do you guys all remember when me and 2 other YouTubers did like a live stream, I think on my channel, although it might have been on a different channel. I don't remember. We were alternating whose channels we did it on. We we did a live stream about the concept of separatism. We talked about like the spectrum of separatism and like the realities of how it can work and how it can be good and how it can be bad and like the purposes of separatism and like all that kind of thing. And there was like me, a lesbian, and a straight woman. And we were basically trying to be like, guys, the rhetoric is like really intense. Let's calm down. Like this doesn't need to be like an intense negative conversation. Let's like just, you know, entertain the conversation like in a neutral way, right? And then Brittany did like this bizarre response where it was like a stream of consciousness, where she rambled about how like these like feminazis or something. Like she used like language that like an anti-feminist would use, and how they're like making feminism look bad, and how they I think I have all the same timestamps as you, Lavender Rose. I think that if you're copy pasting them from Spinster, I think I have those ones. But yeah, Brittany was all like talking about how radical feminists want women to choose to be lesbians. We literally said multiple times, like one of the women in the stream was a straight woman who was a separatist, and we were like, no, obviously not. Like we don't like political lesbianism. Oh, thank you, Lavender. And then she went on to say, like, how can she be lesbophobic when she has like an intense personal relationship with another woman that involves them sleeping in the same bed together, but it's not sexual because she's not a pervert. And like she did that as a response to our video. I think it came out like hours after our video was live streamed. And it was like completely factually incorrect. She kept like trying to reference radical feminist things that were like not true. It was incoherent. Like one sentence didn't connect to this next sentence. And many times she basically was like, lesbians are perverts, radical feminists are like trying to convert us to be lesbians, they're perverts, blah blah blah. And I was like, what? I don't know what Brittany's like personal situation is, but she clearly has like a lot of issues with lesbians. And I don't know anything about, I know that Exulansic calls herself a lesbian. I don't know anything about her life either. So I'm just saying, yeah, Beansprout, like, again, I'm not like an authority. Like I don't have like, you know, some kind of primary source material to prove or disprove this, but what I do know is that when she refers to the fact that she's medically transitioned to Exulansic, she's talking about taking, I think, progesterone birth control or something. Like she took a birth control that she rationalizes was masculinizing in some way. then she refers to that as medical transition. As someone who's never medically transitioned, I've always made it very clear that I am not in the same situation as someone who took testosterone or had surgery. She doesn't feel the need to like make that distinction, which I think is really disrespectful. Yeah. Oh, maybe it was Depo. Yeah, Depo transition. LOL. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Because you went to this event. Obviously, I went to the event for good reasons. Like I wanted to expand my horizons. I wanted to network, and it seemed like a logical way to continue participating in this movement and to strengthen it. So.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. I don't think the issue is so much that like you went to GenSpect, you know, and I think that anybody like, well, I don't know, you know, maybe it could be because maybe people feel like, you know, GenSpect now has done enough to not be worthy of, you know, paying them honestly such a handsome, like, you know, price tag to go to their convention, but with the same respect. And as you've explained it to me, you see yourself as like an ethnographer, you know, you're like an anthropologist, like somebody who's trying to like understand an entire movement, you know, from the inside.
Phenomenon.
Right. And so I understand why you would, you know, go. I also do understand.
Dude, the arrogance. You were there as an ethnographer, like doing anthropology or whatever the fuck. Dude. I thought that Sierra was basically an MD, but not really. And then she was basically like some kind of like multilingual specialist, but not really. And like, so now she's an ethnographer. What next? Lavender thinks the B is high. I don't know. She looks like how she normally looks to me, unless she's always high. I don't know. I'm not like a specialist because I'm sober now.
Understand to me the reason why you posted the picture with Phil is exactly what you had said to me before. You were like, yeah, well, at the same time I was also posting it to stand up. You know, Laura's your friend, right? Is it okay that I say that? Like,
yeah, well, I consider her a friend.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I'm surprised to find out that there's not alignment on who's friend.
You know, when you want to have a highbrow intellectual discussion about how you can disagree with your friends and still be on the same side with regards to politics, best way to do that is when you're stoned. Great.
Right.
But I think that we're certainly acquainted.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, but like Laura, I think, I mean, you've stayed with Laura before. You guys have spent time personally.
I didn't stay with Laura, but
well, you guys stayed together. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got, you know what I mean? Like you've spent time socially, whatever, more than just like passing. Yeah. So the way you explained it to me, you know, and for you guys, like the way Exulansic said it to me was that was me like standing up for my friend who I saw was being dogpiled, you know, for whatever reason, whatever. But it was like kind of like I was like, okay, look, I was there. I have a picture with this guy too, you know, at least like come for me and not some emotionally fragile detransitioner who's probably not, you know, emotionally equipped to handle this sort of a dog pile.
I mean, like if you haven't been at the center of one of these dog piles before, it's hard to anticipate what it's going to do, what it's going to turn into. And yeah, I'm significantly like, I think I'm 30, 40 years older than Laura, according to the TikTok commenters. I'm in my 80s now. And so, you know, I've been at the center of these dog piles before. I don't know how much, whether this is her first one. And it was just like, I don't know how this is going to keep progressing, but you know, there's an environment when you're at these.
Okay, I just have to say this is really fucking boring. Let's go to the timestamps. All right, the first timestamp I have is at 2 hours and 9 minutes. We are currently at, okay, it's not here. I don't care. We're, you know, like 15 minutes in or something. Let's go to like 2 hours and we'll get like 10 minutes before, get some context. What did they bring up here? Oh, some tweets. Ooh. I think Exulansic has me blocked on Twitter. I don't know. Oh, no, she doesn't. I mean, Brittany. Because I just looked, I was trying to see, like, someone said that one of them is jealous of the other one. I was like, does one of them have, like, a much bigger following than the other one? I don't really know the state of things. I know that Exulansic is on TikTok, but I don't know if Brittany's on TikTok. I don't know why Brittany would want to be on TikTok. It's, like, a very weird niche of, like, trying to convince certain people to ask questions. And, like, I don't think it's really for everyone. I think it's a pretty rare woman who can be on TikTok with this specific issue. Okay, so let's go. Is this, do they have like a guest speaker on? Oh, I know who that is. I don't want to see her on my fucking video. Okay, let's go here for these tweets, and then we'll about 10 minutes into the timestamps.
Somewhere and come and talk to us about it. But if and until you're able to do that, then I've got to assume you have no point. I would really love for anybody to give me a convincing argument why as to what Rex Landy said to Exulansic was in any way appropriate. It's not. Then no, come and make it to her face though. Come and make it to her face and make it to my face and let's.
This is the internet. I mean, obviously we don't know what they're talking about, but if they have a screen cap of it, it's public. So like, what?
Let's talk about it. Otherwise, she's the one who's actually here on the screen, standing in the middle of what is, I just hate when people, and no offense, like BF, like you actually do have a channel or whatever, but you have what, like a few hundred subscribers. And I say all that to say she has thousands of people who are like, what, you guys, people don't know what that feels like, right? People don't know, right? 2 years ago, she didn't have any of this. So to have like women coming out of the woodwork who other women are all backing up and co-signing it. Let's read it again. No, let's read it again because I want to hear exactly word for word. Maybe I'm missing something, but I really don't think that I am. I don't think that there's anything about this like message that I would ever co-sign ever. Is it a gross condemnation of Rex Landy? Of course not. That's the point. I can condemn the behavior of a woman without saying, I now hate that woman and she's horrible. We should never listen to her. No, in this specific case, I don't know. Yeah, I think this is terrible. I would never co-sign this, right? So again, it's anybody who's saying anything like this, I don't agree.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. If you read the bottom here, it says, I think de-escalation is one of Brittany's strengths. In what fucking universe, man? Aren't they both in the middle of suing people right now? Like, I thought that they're both in the middle of suing people for slander or defamation or some crap. Like, de-escalation where? When? No,
Speech pathologist uses fancy words to say, quote, I support cockfrocker perverts in drag because they help pay me money. Has he paid you money?
Not that I know of.
I mean, this is like the same thing with GenSpect, right? They know that pandering to males and like looking like they empathize with men generally, especially heterosexual men generally, will get them like more solvency within the gender critical amalgam of the internet than someone like me. I'm a fucking great example of this. I don't let men comment on my videos. I don't interact with men on Twitter. I try not to prioritize men in my YouTube like content. And look how much attention I'm getting. Look how much money I'm making. Oh my god, guys. Okay, like let's for 1 second. So someone sent me a super chat, I think on Friday, and I was like, oh, money. I forgot how that works with Twitter. I mean, YouTube. I haven't gotten the YouTube monies since like 2021. I was like, how does that work? I had to like log into all my shit and like update things and whatever. And I logged in, and it turns out in the last year and a half, I have made $34 from YouTube. So I'm really, why did I bring this up? Oh yeah. So I actually think that they can both be accused of being, you know, looking like for where's the money, regardless of which side they fall in the like actual pro or anti AGP thing. They're just constantly involved in drama to get views, right? My video about Stella is getting a lot of views right now. I don't know how much money I've made off of that specific video. Like, you have to get like thousands and thousands and thousands of views to get actual money. Like, someone like Posey Parker, you could like look at each of her videos and like calculate how much money she's making. Like, I think the average video on my channel gets about 200 views. Like, these last few days have been like exceptional. Anyway, Lavender says you can go to Timmy's with that. I actually cannot go to Timmy's with that because the minimum threshold for withdrawing your YouTube money is $100, and I have $34, so that's not. I guess I have to wait like another year to pull out that, you know, great YouTube money. Anyway, yeah. I just want to say though, like, I actually do agree with Rex on this. Again, I can't remember who Rex is. I vaguely recall that she was associated like with this criticism of Posey Parker when she was in New Zealand, but I can't remember the details of all that. I just want to say I don't agree with the like misogynist language, obviously, but the idea that pandering to men makes you solvent and like attractive to straight women, women with like male children, all of this is 100% true, and it probably does, you know, inevitably does translate to like every single gender critical rad femme YouTuber that I can think of that I think is making bank is someone who's like, there are good men out there. My husband is a good man. Like, good men exist, and like they need to, like, they're necessary for like fathering children. Like, we need like good men in the family and all that shit. Like, I cannot think of a single like big name like gender critical rad femme YouTuber who is not like, you know, constantly apologizing. Yeah, not my Nigeling for men. So like the fact that Sierra has to do it for a man that it's not like her hypothetical future boyfriend or husband, and it's not like her current husband or boyfriend, like that's nothing special. Like, I agree with that. Do not appreciate this misogynist language. Okay.
Aware of, like, maybe as like an anonymous donor. I doubt it. He seems pretty do you I mean,
and also she's definitely high. Like, she's acting like this is meant as a literal like he paid her to take a picture. Brittany, you're stoned.
are you like, so have you platformed him? Well, I guess you put his picture on your thing. Okay. But have you had him on your like channel?
No.
Okay, so let's go on further. Okay, so none of those things have borne out to be accurate. And then you go on to call her a cunt. And you weren't, you know, I'm sorry, but like brave enough to actually put the words out exactly like that.
Not to defend the misogynist language, but it seemed obvious to me at first glance that the reason she spelt it that way was so that she couldn't get reported for it. Like, I know Exulansic, for example, on her TikToks, like she just says she'll spell sexual like with a G, you know, so that she can't get reported, so it's not flagged. I'm pretty sure that's why. I don't think it's because she's like she's half-assing her insults.
C-nut, but not use because too big Sierra. You think that that's a reasonable, okay thing to say to another woman?
Some of you are like, Lavender specifically is like, you know, cunt is like has a different colloquial use in like the British colonies or whatever. I don't give a shit, honestly. I don't care. There was like a bit of a thing at a women's event I was at where there were women using the term bitch a lot, and they were saying, well, it's like part of our culture. And I was like, I don't really care if in your culture this is a ubiquitous word that has lost all of its like offensive power to you. If you know what the history is and you know how it affects women around you, like, I don't really care what your culture has to do with that word. Like, oh yeah, Lavender says, I've heard Brittany say much, much, much worse things about women in Twitter Spaces. I believe that. It's the hypocrisy that bugs me. Guys, hypocrisy is like my number one thing. Like, just, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate.
I don't. Okay, I would never say that to any other female opponent. Stella O'Malley, who I can't fucking.
Okay, but also just the fact that she switched the U and the N to me implies that she knew it was, an offensive word, because otherwise, why would she do that? Like, she knows it can get censored, then she knows it has significance, right? I don't know.
Stan, who I think is a fucking clown. I think she's I think she's an enabler. I think that she is an actual grifter, but never still would I tell her some of the language that was just being said to Exulansic. I would never say, like, go fillet these men. I don't wish trauma or rape.
Wait, is she now saying that women doing fellatio on men is inherently traumatic? Because I remember watching multiple videos by Brittany where she talked about how it's like women's sensual divine femininity to be allowed to enjoy doing fellatio on men. Does anybody remember these videos that I'm talking about? I only watched her channel a handful of times, and each time I was like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? So just what?
Or harm.
Okay, the timestamp we're looking for is 8 minutes from here. I cannot with this. Like, let's move on, okay?
Bro, what? No. How about we not treat other women like fucking trash?
How about she doesn't defend?
How is that me defending?
Dude, who the fuck is on the phone? What the fuck? So they had someone else that they brought into the stream, and then that woman left, and now someone is on the phone. What? I don't know. I don't know, Carol. I thought she was straight too. Women in the live chat are saying that she's like bisexual or that she's like a lesbian on the down low or something. I'm confused. I don't know. Is it actually you who's on the phone? OMG. Welcome to the channel. She's an anti-feminist. They're both anti-feminists at this point.
Her like philosophically, by me, she, like this is a friend of mine. Did you understand? This is a friend. This is somebody who I've known for a long time.
You're getting on the stream and defending what she's saying. Like, if women don't have a reason.
Am I like defending like anything that you've said in regards to Phil?
I don't think so.
No. What the fuck are you talking about?
You dismissed the whole argument about Phil and what she
Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't fuck with this guy at all. And honestly, if I was there, I would have made a fucking scene. Bro, you don't want me in a room with this guy. So what are you talking about? I'm saying that this woman, who happens to also be my friend, deserves some basic decency and respect as a woman. That's literally my only stance. Fuck this guy.
She think it's a religious right for men to fucking be all these things.
What?
A religious right. She thinks that they have a religious right.
Do you think Phil has a religious right? This is the question. Okay, so the question from Yvette here is, say it in, does Phil have a religious right to do what?
A sexuality and a fucking disability.
To a sexuality and a disability.
No, these rights are trans rights to her.
I just gotta say, this is so fucking unhinged. Everyone is like off, like they could all be drunk. That's how much sense this whole thing makes. Lavender, the timestamps, yes. Tucson for sending me the link, yes. Guys, great, amazing. It's been boring up till now. Now it is not boring. Dude, what the fuck is this? There's a point, there's a point in live streams where I'm like, I'm too tired. I can't keep my train of thought going. Or I'm like, I've gotten too excitable about something. So I'm probably not making as much sense as I usually would like to make. And then I will like either change the topic or talk for 10 minutes about how I'm going to end the stream, but I don't end the stream for 10 minutes. Okay? This is the point, I think, where they should have been like, you know what? The stream's gone off the rails a bit. Like, what was the point of the stream again? Are we doing that? Maybe now's the time to be like, peace. But,
Are these trans rights? Does he have a right?
Yeah. She thinks trans falls under disability, religion, and sexual orientation.
I think that people who identify as trans can assert rights on the basis of their disability and their other protected categories.
Is Sierra now a legal expert? Like, if any other woman was trying to to basically be like, oh, I think this is how I would interpret this law, or this is how I would interpret this psychological, fact or something, I would be like, okay, let's interact in good faith. Sierra is a specialist on fucking everything, so I'm like suspicious. She speaks with such authority on so much stuff. Yeah, exactly. Exulansic is an authority on all things. Means for hazardous disability. Well, obviously, as radical feminists, we're just too stupid to understand. Yeah.
Or is it studying
Disability.
religion?
Trans is not a disability.
No. My question is, rather than engaging her in all these like minutia of what she may or may not think is the appropriate, like,
It's not minutia.
but my question to you is, you're saying that what, I should throw her out of my house? Is that what you're asking me to do? Because
You don't know if she's on Gen Spec. Like, you're going against Gen Spec, but here you have her who's like,
I'm not part of
so
that.
you want me to throw her out? Are you what? Let me clarify. Do you want me to throw her out of my house right now? Would that be like the appropriate? Is that what you would do? Huh?
I think you should be going after her and not Rex.
So I should agree with Rex. Okay, let's go back to Rex's, real noble fucking statement.
She didn't do that for no reason.
I should agree with Rex's statement that this woman is a cunt, which is a degrading terminology against female genitalia.
Dude, she's absolutely baked. Also, Femalist Florida, do you go by a different name? Like, do I know who you are? Are you someone I know? No, Cecilia, or sorry, Cecily. I totally feel you on the autism thing. I totally get that, the social. I just think like it's been so ongoing that she has presented herself. Like there's been actual times where people like have asked her like, do you know about this specialty? Have you studied this? And she's like arrogantly like it's not so much in the tone that she's using as in the fact that the history of the way she's presented herself is my issue. No. Okay.
That has been used to degrade us and basically dehumanize us and talk to us as though we're like, just disgusting subhuman body parts. Okay. No, I'm sorry. You're right. I guess you got me. I guess, I don't agree with that.
Okay. This is like a lot of bullshit. We're going to skip to the next timestamp. Also, I just want to say female list is VF555. She has harassed me a lot in the past, and she's banned from the channel, which is why she's now communicating with me on this account instead. Yeah, she has said a lot of really degrading and derogatory stuff about me personally and other D-trans women that I'm like IRL friends with. So I've just banned this account of hers from this channel. I assume she's going to start mobbing me on Twitter now, which is obviously amazing and great. Just want to like full transparency. This is why I've deleted her from the chat if she's not here anymore. Let's continue.
That anger is not for no reason.
Bro, I literally just said that Rex was abused by an AGP. Friend, she has a right to be here. We had already planned to be here.
Dude, how long is this fucking phone call?
I didn't go call her after the fact. Like, oh, you want to come get together, like talk about this? No, this is a friend. She was welcome to be here. We already had the plan. She's welcome in my home. She's welcome to be safe in my home while she's many hundreds, if not thousands of.
I'd also think it's like, okay, so Sierra is autistic and she's there ostensibly for the purpose of Brittany and Sierra having a conversation on camera. Now Brittany is screaming into the phone, and it looks to me like Sierra's uncomfortable with that, and Sierra's kind of shut down a little bit. that seems like kind of disrespectful to me, to invite someone to be on your channel to talk about something and then you make it like such a hostile environment, especially because she's autistic, that she basically hasn't, as far as I can tell, hasn't said anything for like 5 minutes, except for the time when she turned to her and said, "Do you think this?" And Sierra said yes in one sentence, and then like, yeah, Celia says, "Yes, I can see Exulansic is very uncomfortable. I look the same way when I shut down." Yeah. I'm not trying to say that like Sierra is like some like ultimate victim. I'm just saying in this, like looking at the body language right now, like if I had someone on my channel who looked like that, I would be like, oh, I haven't facilitated them being on my channel very well. That's all I'm saying.
Miles away from her home, and she's, you know, on travel. So period, point blank. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go, but that's fucking where I am with it. I'll talk to you later. Fucking so yeah, there's no argument.
Okay, well, a bunch of you are disagreeing with me and saying that you think that Sierra has manipulated Brittany into being like her attack dog. You know, sure, maybe that is the case. I know for a fact all of you have watched way more of Sierra and Exulansic and Brittany's. A ton of you seem to think that. Okay, well, I know for a fact that all of you have watched way more of their content than I have, and more recently, so you would know better than me.
Anyway, let's like move on. So that resolves that. Why some fucking people are getting emotional for no reason. That's again. So just I think
emotional for no reason. Okay, it doesn't describe anybody else on this video at all.
The bottom line is you can safely assume that like not all this has to do with you, right? People are coming from a very emotional point of view, but we should still self-regulate. We don't need to like project onto you.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like she thinks I'm saying that if they have a religious right to dress in a certain way to perform their religion, then that means they can just do whatever they want. And
okay, I've seen Sierra talking about like religious rights before, and like for sure that is a thing that one could theoretically use to defend the actions of a trans person, you know, or conversely, lesbian separatists could use religious arguments to defend our rights, right? Anybody can kind of use religious. Maple, so great to see you. Anybody can kind of use religious arguments to like defend almost anything, theoretically. I don't really understand why she's constantly bringing it up when it's not happening. Like, it's one thing to say like you could use this as a legal argument if it got to the point of being in court. We are not talking about anything in court. No one has used it as a legal argument. She's not talking about things that's already happened, things about to happen. She's just like bringing it up for no fucking reason. I don't understand why she's always doing this. It's so fucking weird to me.
And women have no rights, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you can't start from the assumption that nobody has assertable rights. Like it's not a just situation if people don't have rights. But that doesn't mean that one group wins. And I don't think you can carve out trans specific rights outside of existing categories. But absolutely, a trans person has a religious right to wear a religious garment. Do other people not have that right?
And there it is. And there it is.
What and there it is. What the fuck? No one is trying to say that this man doesn't have a right to wear a dress. I don't think anybody is saying that when a man steps out of his home wearing a dress, he needs to be arrested. I mean, the internet's a crazy place. Maybe someone is saying that in the gender critical amalgam of the internet, okay? People are trying to say that if you write a book about your fetish and then you go out wearing clothes that you say is part of your fetish, that sends like a really fucking clear message that you were, at least in part, practicing your fetish in public with unwilling women, and that's not okay. I don't really give a fuck if he has a right to wear a dress or not. Or like there's a bunch of stuff that men have rights to do, but we know that they're doing it for like a specifically sexual reason, and that makes us uncomfortable. And that's it. Like that's the end of the point. There's no what fucking religious right? Like
it is, you know. It's like, what do you want? Is Exulansic here like singularly?
Dude, she's so baked. Why are you on live? Why are you live streaming when you're so stoned?
Responsible for like what, changing the laws and like reframing like society.
Dude, there's nothing to do with Exulansic responsibility in a civic sense. Like, they're all just saying, you took pictures with this dude, and then you defended this dude, and if you were, like, anti-AGP, why would you do that? As far as I can tell, that's the setup for the video. It's inconsistency. Which, like I said in my Stella video the other day, that's my biggest thing to me. I don't like inconsistency. You can't say, I support the transes, except this one time, or, like, I don't support the transes, except this one time, or, like, AGP is not okay, except this guy's my friend, so now AGP is okay. Like, I don't like inconsistency. Carol says that she smokes on streams. Okay, so are we saying that it's weed? Because Beansprout seems to think it's Quaaludes. So, like, dude, Sierra's writing a book. Guys, I really need to write a book. How much money do these random GCs make off of writing books? I would love to write a fucking book. Maybe not, like, literally the writing of the book, but I would love to sell a book. I have lots of shit to say. Brittany admits that she smoked before the vid somewhere about 3/4 of the way through. Invaluable. Thank you. Very good point. Possible Person says, why is it whenever you disagree with something, people immediately just try to say, or immediately just jump to say you're trying to make it illegal, LOL. Yeah. No one here. Oh, Michelle Magnus, what's up? No one here is trying to say that this is, like, illegal for a man to wear a dress. They're saying that it's, like, an ideologically or politically inconsistent position to, you know.
Bro, like, you know what I mean? It's like, again, I'm not gonna throw her out of my house because I disagree with her on, like, her approach to, like, certain things. She's not the AGP. Okay? She's not.
I'm a total turn, she says.
Regardless, she's a fucking same thing with Buck Angel. Hello, Buck Angel will always have a certain level of respect in my book because she's a woman, and I'm not going to just dehumanize her. It doesn't matter what she's done to herself. She's still a woman. She still actually has a right.
Okay. There are obviously a bunch of people in the gender critical sphere of the internet. I'm not saying that they are gender critical or not, okay? Right? I'm saying this part of the corner of the internet where they all interact, who are really misogynistic. There are tons of them, right? But I think the average gender critical woman who is there for the sake of women, and the average radical feminist who's there for the sake of women, would not contest that regardless of Sierra's actions, she should not face any misogynistic abuse. They're setting up a straw man by being like, all these people who disagree with Sierra thinks that she deserves to get, like, rape threats and death threats and, like, face misogynist language and blah, blah. I don't think that's true. I don't think that most women who disagree with them think that the rational, reasonable response is for her to be punished through, like, online misogyny. It's just completely bullshit. Okay, I'm so sick of this. Let's skip to the next timestamp. It's at 2:28, so let's go to 2:27. Oh, who the fuck is that? Okay, well, let's go to the beginning of this tweet picture. Are they just trying to show that she took pictures? Okay, again, I'm just gonna maybe jumping the gun. They started the video by being like, Sierra did nothing wrong. But then they were like, well, you know, like, they kind of tried to be like, she did nothing wrong, but. So I assume that by showing us, like, her entire Twitter feed with multiple pictures of multiple people, they're trying to be like, she took pictures of lots of people. You can't be hold her accountable for, like, all of it because she was just doing a lot of things. I assume they're trying to, like, set that argument, which I think is stupid. Okay.
Picture of the scratcher as if you had already scratched it
Yeah,
off.
it's not only it's not even a good
pair of numbers, but you don't get to be excited.
It's like a crappy black and white. It's like what a receipt paper looks like.
Yeah, it looks like a regular lottery ticket paper. So they just took all the enjoyment out of scratchers.
Save
your money. They should just give you a ticket that says win or lose at that point.
Right. To paraphrase, they're now giving you scratch offs where you don't actually get to scratch anything off. It's just like it's like
has Brittany been, like, smoking throughout the video in the parts that we've skipped for those who've watched the whole thing? Because this is 2 hours and 25 minutes in. How can she be getting progressively more stoned unless she's consistently consuming more drugs? I don't know.
It's just like
I posted a picture to my Twitter of the.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Let's go look. We can look at it. Guys, and I fucking this Phil guy or whatever. I don't even like saying his name. Fuck this guy. Bro, that doesn't mean that I fucking agree with this dickhead about anything. All right. Oh, here we go. So is it the first time that you posted about Brittany?
No, that was the second time after people had
All right,
started
let's
going
go
up
all
and
the way back. No, but this is the one that like this is
that was the picture, but it was the second time I had posted that picture. I have also
Oh.
posted it as part of like just generally all posting all my pictures from that evening.
But this is the one that well, I guess we'll go all the way back then if you posted this actual picture.
And the first
Did
time,
you delete it?
no,
Oh, okay. It's such okay. This is what forced me to like really check myself because it's like he plays the fence too, though. He plays the fence a lot with a lot of these like true trans dudes. You know what I mean? But like, I just feel like he's been through so much. God, it's like he.
Okay, like for sure, this shifter of shapes guy has been through a lot, no doubt. However, my question, did Sierra, when she said that she went to this thing to network, did she go there just to take pictures with random people? Because if you look at this picture, it has 593 likes. Did she go there just to get photographed with people who she thinks are high profile so that she could get like attention online? Like just as an individual person, not to do with my politics, just like as a person, I think that's kind of dumb. And then it looks to me like she flew from California to Colorado for this conference, and then it looks to me like she flew from Colorado to wherever it is on the East Coast that Brittany lives. I can't remember. Like, as an individual, not as my politics. Where are you getting all this money, and why are you spending all this money doing all these things? Like, obviously, it's like her life and her money and her time, and she can do whatever she wants. I'm just like, what? Okay.
He's so on the victim end of things, and it's like, you know, God, this poor fucking boy. He's not the He's the thing is, how he has to be the same. Yeah, you're right. Look, I don't mind enforcing the dress code both ways. At the end of the day, like, oh wow, I'm really sorry. It's a shame, but your right to like dress, you know, in the outfits that you like is just not more important to me, right? And I'm not saying that we can legally enforce that, but like in our own groups, like
who gives a fuck about legal enforcement? Like, who gives a fuck? Why do you keep bringing it up? No one is mentioning that.
Can understand if some women are gonna like withdraw their whatever. Oh no, but I like him. It's different. He's not the fucking predator. This one like Phil is, and now we have like insider info that like Phil really is a fucking weirdo, and it's like that's me saying it, but like, well, you know, stay tuned. There's probably like some info that might drop about fucking Phil. But oh, Shape though, you know, Shape, you got to be careful about your own friends because you hang out a lot, and I understand it's got to be hard to find community, but it's like you hang out a lot with this like true trans crowd. Some of these dudes are fucking weirdos, and some of them are AGPs. They're not like you.
I just on this note specifically, and because I just said this, I feel like I need to like, you know, back it up. I actually fucking would love to come to the UK, so me and Beansbro can hang out, among others, obviously. But when I do go to the UK, I'm going to do like everything at once. I'm going to go to Philia. I'm going to go to at least one Speaker's Corner thing because like, why not? That's what it's there for. And I'm going to visit like all the women I know in the UK that I want to visit. Like there's like 3 of them. I assume Lorelai's gone to sleep now because it's pretty late. But like there's a few women now that I want to meet, but I'm going to go to the UK once and meet them all and then probably come back like 5 years later because like I'm not made of money. And if I did have a lot of money like that, I think I would find more like productive things to do with it rather than traveling around by myself, especially in the age of the internet. Like this stream specifically, I mean, obviously I don't know, maybe they are just friends who wanted to hang out and then they were like, let's make a stream. But I'm like, you could have just done this like over a StreamYard, you know,
but maybe I don't know. Like I don't know enough about like the sort of crossover ideology of homosexual transsexualism and autogynephilia that maybe like, you know, there is some crossover, you know, I don't know. What do you think?
Between what?
Yeah, what?
Like what do you think like the difference between, you know, anything? Do you like, are you following me at all? Like what I was saying?
the difference between different types of amendment.
No, just like
Is there a crossover between homosexual transsexuals and autogynephilics who are categorically heterosexual and who are defined as being in opposition to each other? What do you think, Sierra? Sierra's like, the fuck?
like autogynephil, like so like homosexual transsexuals, like are they absolved of all of the sort of like ire that we give to AGPs, or do they bear some of the same responsibility?
I think that is different depending on the individual, and that fundamentally I think that this proclivity is kind of rooted in some aspect of maleness.
Boom.
So I think it's while I do agree that it does seem like there are differences, I don't know that means that they have different ideologies. I think they're both kind of rooted in the maleness feature of it.
Totally. And we can all say no. Just because I personally tend to have like a little bit more of like an all, like, you know, and I like Shape as like a person otherwise, but they're all dudes and they're all, yeah, I agree. Like we can still prioritize women first and foremost. I'm not saying that that's a summary of what you.
This is like a great example. This fucking cameraman. This is a great example of what I was saying before. All of these, like, well, I know that these two women are now like anti-radfems or like whatever, post-radfem or whatever. But you know, we can like love these men and care about these men and also like prioritize women. Like the fact that you needed to spend the breath to say that is proof to the contrary. Like, stop fucking wasting your time and my time defending them all the time. Like, Jesus fuck.
You just said. But that's my sort of take on it.
Jessica said, is it still classed as a disability when self-inflicted? Yes. The definition of disability is about functional impairment.
I don't think it's a disability. I gotta disagree with you there. I think that like, because that then it starts to like, you know, it's different than, yeah, no, it's like we gotta just, I don't know, stop enabling these guys. It's like they realize that they weren't, if there wasn't such like a social safety net, you know, for people to explain like things away from them, then they would be forced to be held to a certain standard, you know. And the reality is men like Phil could probably function if he had to. It's just the fact
that probably could, but there's definitely a lot of people who can't. They just frankly can't. No matter what standards you want to hold them to, they're impaired for reasons of mental disease or defect. And it's very frustrating.
Who's like an example?
I work with brain injury, so I work with people who can't overcome.
Is she trying to say that having a paraphilia or a body dysmorphic disorder that leads you to the point of surgery, which I think Shifter of Shapes falls under that category, is the same as having a brain injury? What the fuck is she talking about? Yeah. What the fuck? I get off with this bullshit. Because at the end of the day, she's trying to say, yeah, I think she's trying to like quote the law, but it does sound Victorian. I thought the same thing. I work with people who have brain injuries. There's always something relevant that she has worked with. LOL. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, we can all see that she's actually in the Stella O'Malley corner of like these poor fucking dudes who can't help themselves. You know, we need to have more compassion for them because there's nothing else they can do. All they can do is like sabotage. Like, P.S. They're also going to like sexually victimize women, but all they can do is not operate in society in a way that makes their life easy. So like, let's, you know, our heart goes out to them. That's what like her whole thing with like disability, the religion, the blah blah blah, basically have brain injury. Like, dude, bro, calm down.
No, but we're talking about in terms of trans, right? You're saying that like
some of these guys are mentally impaired.
Like, is there like an example that like makes you believe that they're so impaired that they're not responsible for what?
I'm not saying they're not responsible for what they're doing. I'm saying they may not be able to stop. Like, so legal responsibility, legal insanity is a different feature. Even if you can't if you're mentally ill and can't stop yourself, that's a different problem than not knowing right from wrong. Which
So
is a legal
some men
standard
can't
insanity,
stop,
to my understanding.
like, engaging with their fetish. It's like it's just
Right,
they have to do it.
Right. It's like
I see. I disagree with that.
Yeah, I'm with Brittany here. What the fuck?
Disagree with that, and I don't. I think that yeah, no, men they make the choice to go put on clothes in the morning, and after they we've explained to them that no, I don't know. I gotta disagree there. I gotta push back. Like, do you have an example of somebody who you think is so disabled that like they can't control them acting out in their fetish? I think it's because of men who are
that disabled and can't
but like,
control.
do you have like a public like example that like we could?
I know a rad femme who used to be, I think she was like a nurse or an orderly or something, who worked with people who had brain injuries. And she talked all the time about how they would like physically assault the staff who worked with them. The men who had brain injuries would physically assault the female staff. And I think she also had worked in like other psychiatric care, and she constantly was talking about how like, because these men have like anything wrong with them, there's always 1,000 excuses for why it's okay when they hit women or when they like grope women or whatever. And she was like, being someone who works in this field, who like is with these men and these women, like she's like, first of all, the women don't do this shit, it's the men. Also, the men do this shit to women, not to the men. So is it really that they don't have impulse control, or is it that like they have an excuse not to have impulse control? I'm not saying I'm like a psychiatrist or something. I don't fucking know. I'm just saying I have known a feminist who has worked in an adjacent field to Sierra, and her take on this whole thing was like the exact fucking opposite of Sierra's. This is giving evolutionary psychology to me. I don't know what you think, but Sierra is really giving like the testosterone, how can they help themselves vibes. Yeah. Where's my check? I also refuse to follow basic social codes and act right. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Now I feel like I didn't say something stupid. Okay, where's the next fucking timestamp? We are at 2:30. The next timestamp is at 2:30. Okay.
Like, are there any of these like public like trans identifying males that you might point to specifically?
I'm not going to point to a specific person. I mean, we could point to Phil, I guess, because he's come out and said that that's his motivation. But if you have something quirky in your brain that gives you
what's his motivation?
Extremely out, getting the sexual reinforcer that his own brain gives him.
Right.
But there's
So because this man has told us outright that his motivation for acting on his fetish in public is the validation he gets from public attention that recognizes and enforces his fetish, we should just feel bad for him, because not only is he doing something that's harmful, but he recognizes it and knows it, so we should feel even more bad. How the fuck? How in the fuck? Like, okay, I have been friends with a lot of people with like severe mental illnesses, okay? And when people have really severe mental illnesses, a lot of the time they have trouble like grappling with the fact that like, even if I'm mentally ill, if I hurt people that are around me, that's my responsibility and my problem, and I need to like take steps to prevent that, address it and apologize for it. Like, it's still my fault that I took an action that hurt you, even if I couldn't control my impulses and it hurt you. Okay? This, what she's saying, flies like directly in the face of everything that I'm aware of from being around people who have like complex PTSD or like schizophrenia or whatever. Like, anybody I've ever known with like severe mental illness has, except for actually a handful of men who like they were friends of my friends that like I don't hang out with them. Like, this to me, it's just making me think that Sierra is very male identified. I don't mean she identifies as a man. I mean she has the value system and the logic of a patriarchal society. Like, she is male in her thinking, that she's prioritizing men and the way that they think, and she's taken it on as her own way of thinking. Like, I remember this one schizophrenic dude I was hanging out with. I was with another woman who was like his friend. So I was hanging out with this woman and this guy was there. And he kept like punching her and kicking her. And I was like, and he was like, well, the voices make me do it. And I was like, well, interesting. That made you hurt her. And like not me, because you know that she's gonna let you get away with it, but I won't let you get away with it. Like, interesting. And he basically thought like because he could like cite his schizophrenia that it was completely acceptable. And she, my friend, also thought that. She was like, well, you know. I'm like, you also have schizophrenia. Are you running around punching him or punching me? What the fuck? Like, the only time I've ever seen this argument employed is when people are defending men and their shitty behavior. It's never when they're defending women doing something shitty. And I'm just like, I'm not a psychiatrist, okay? I'm not a therapist. I'm just saying what I've observed in my life. It seems to me that she, you know, and also, yes. Also, if it's actually uncontrollable, which this isn't, yes, this man it's kind of what I was saying in the Stella stream the other day. This man made a conscious effort to either make or get this dress custom made for him to fit him in a certain way. And then he flew to this conference. And then he took the dress out of his bag. And then he put the dress on. And then he took the elevator from his room to the conference center so that he could be in this dress in public. Okay? This is not an unstoppable impulse that he had. He knows that it's a fetish. He wants it to be publicly appreciated. And he went out and did that. Like, what the fuck? I'm getting the I'm one of the good ones vibes from Sierra, yeah. That wouldn't surprise me considering Stella was promoting his book before, during, and after, right?
Do you think that the fact that that reinforcer pattern exists in his brain and is possible is very likely something he chose?
But then do you think
he doesn't choose to have okay, well, you could make the same argument about like I think that Sierra would stipulate that AGP is a sexual orientation. You could make the same argument about anyone's sexual arousal, right? So a man saw a woman in a short skirt, he got turned on. How could he help himself? He had to do something about it. Like, that's basically the argument she's making. But because AGP is this like, ooh, this like convoluted mystery thing, she's like trying to be like more intellectual about it. It's literally the exact same fucking thing.
It's fair then to broadly apply saying that it's a disability if we do think there are, like, I mean, because you just said that you believe that Phil can control it, right? You said that like a few minutes ago.
Mechanically, yes. Neurochemically.
Okay, also, Sierra is supposed to be someone with insider knowledge, right? And especially because I think her trans years or purported trans years are the same as mine. So, or close to mine anyway. Or not, I can't fucking remember. My point is, if you were around the trans community and the trans community were being a trans and all that shit, you definitely spent a lot of time with people who were closeted or who were like, I'm closeted now and in a year I won't be closeted, you know? So this whole argument of like it's an uncontrollable impulse is completely bullshit, because then how is it possible for people to be closeted if it's uncontrollable? Then we have people accidentally falling out of the closet left, right, and center. Like, the whole argument makes no sense. Oh, no, we were not the same years then, okay, because I re-identified in I found radical feminists in 2014, re-identified in 2016, I think. So yeah, not the same years. Okay. Appreciate that. Yeah, very much the point. So this also kind of brings you back to something we were talking about in the Stella stream, which is that, like, we don't need an explanation. We don't need a deeper understanding. All we need is to know that we say no, and that's it. Like, I'm totally with Posey Parker on this. Posey Parker says it makes me uncomfortable, makes me worry about for my children or children around me. That's it. I say no. That's it. No means no. That's it. No more questions. Yes. Fucking yes. Okay. This is so fucking painful. Where's the next timestamp? Oh, they're all around here. Okay, the next timestamp is 4 minutes away, and then that's the last one. Should we just do that? How much time have we got? We've got like another 30 minutes that I'm willing to stream. Okay. This is so painful. Oh my god. This is like, I was gonna say, maybe I shouldn't say that. This is making me question my sobriety. Should I also be stoned? Like, is that how you get through this stream?
I don't know.
You don't
I'm
think
not
he can
inside of his brain.
control putting women's clothes on? Like it's just
Mechanically,
something that,
yes. Neurochemically, I don't know because I'm not inside of his brain. You have to think about it on different levels of analysis.
No, of course he can. Of course he can. Of course he can. Like not put on a woman's clothing. Of course. I'm sorry. I gotta disagree with you there. Of course he can. If he is high functioning enough to go buy a ticket to Gen Spec and like write a book and like go show up and like, you know, have his own social.
Do you have IRL friends that you watch this stuff with, or did you do like a watch party online? Yo, useless. Yes, we could be watching Ancient Aliens. And like not all men or like whatever, but that dude on Ancient Aliens is fucking hilarious. Okay. The next timestamp I have, I just can't with this. I just can't. I was like, let's watch it because it's only like 3 more minutes away, but it's 2:35. Okay. Dude, look at the comments that they posted. Then are you saying that serial killers are victims of disability? This shit. What is it? Which one is it? Is that one? Okay.
It's more just about the conditioning of the behavior. Is it going to make it more likely they continue to engage in the behavior further?
I think if they know they can get away with it.
Perhaps, but then
And
have
if
a
people
lot
are
of
going to
people who do
explain it
either
away
way.
for them. Yeah.
Like you have repeat sex offenders who get caught again and again. They don't think they can get away with it.
Because
they absolutely do think they can get away with it. Let's not get into that.
People are giving them access in some way, right? If we like don't okay, here's an example. You know, like you talk to a lot of like okay, I dated a guy who put his hands on me one time, right?
Right.
And that was it. I was like, nah, you'll never fucking have access. Like, period. I'm sorry. And it sucked too because it was like 99% of the time he was so nice to me and like treated me like a princess and all this stuff. But he just like snapped out one time over.
I have so much to say right now. What the fuck? Why is she casually bringing up this to defend her position? You don't need to do that. Like, this is like your personal trauma. You don't need to bring it up in like a stupid thought exercise that Sierra has set up. What the fuck? Also this whole, but he treated me right 99% of the time. Dude, the fact that you even have the impulse to say that makes me really sad. Like, it just makes me sad that she not only experienced this, but she feels she needs to bring it up in this context. It's very sad.
For like, over, you know, what's it called? Like jealousy, for example. Sorry. So he like snapped out and like attacked me. And then it was like, and then he tried to tell me that like, oh no, I'm sorry. I just blacked out. You know, I would have never chosen to do that. And I was like, okay, so one of two things is possible.
Did you know in Canada, if you are a man and you rape a woman and you claim you were blackout drunk, that you cannot be charged with a crime? Isn't that fucking great? They changed that law like 3 years ago or something. They were like, oh, we reread like the old school laws and we've reinterpreted them. And for clarity, this is a situation that is covered under that. I think it also applies to like physical battery or something. Like if you beat someone but you claim you were like blackout drunk or blackout high, then you can argue that you weren't in control of your behavior, so you can't be held accountable for it. It's fucking insane. Anyway.
You either blacked out and you dissociated so much and you went and attacked me, and that's not something you would have ever done, you know, chosen, right? Or you decided to walk yourself through and do that. Either way, it's like, yeah, either way, you're not trustworthy. Oh, sorry, I don't even fucking like.
Yeah, no, I mean the fact that a problematic behavior is disability related does not mean you need to tolerate it. It does not mean that they could.
No, that's not what I'm trying to say. It's like, okay, here's how I know that that's bullshit. Here's how I know that that's bullshit. If my dad were home at that fucking time, would you have put your hands on me? No. So fuck out of here. You just knew you could get away with it because of the circumstances. We were home alone. If a cop was here holding a fucking, AR-15, would you have blacked out then? Also no. No, because you knew that you could fucking get away with it because you're a pussy, and like you knew that, like, how much can I hold you accountable or fucking do anything? But if somebody was there who would have really held you accountable, you would have gotten yourself fucking under control and it would have never happened. So
yeah, I completely agree with Brittany on this, obviously. Yeah. So someone earlier said that the shit gets like better after 240, and I don't know if that's the case. Who the fuck is this now? But I have to go to the washroom. So I'm gonna go to the washroom and get a sweater because I'm cold, and then I'll be right back. Yeah. So like I really need to get like a thing like that I save into StreamYard that's like BRB, like a card I can put up on the screen that's like BRB. Okay, so like BRB. I also need hold music. I know that there is a way to set that up. I don't know if it's on the free version or not, but yeah. P.S. I brought Momo. Momo, look. The people. Give us some purrs for the mic. Boo boo. Look, everyone loves you. This looks so like staged, this hand position. Okay, well that's enough with the cat intermission. Here you go, Momo. I have like this old desk chair that is very uncomfortable. That when Momo is like, when I'm streaming, she's always sleeping in this desk chair. So I brought the desk chair over here to the desk. Because usually it's beside my bed. So she's here now. Okay. Yeah, Momo was pretty fucking awesome. Okay, so I'm thinking, should we switch gears to the Stella O'Malley thing now? Or, okay, guys, you have two options. Get ready to vote with your typings. Do we want to see the Vanessa Vokey part of this video, or do we want me to talk about the Stella O'Malley apology, non-apology? Make Momo my co-host. Okay, I used to have like a little shelf thing in this corner that had like a pillow on it that she would sleep on, but she hasn't slept on it in like a year. So I finally was like, okay, like let's get rid of it because she's not coming back. Everyone is like stuff. Okay, so we're done with this video. Okay. Please hold. So it's F11. All right. Oh, here it is. Okay. And now for something completely different. I need to like write down this timestamp. What are we at? We're on 137. And then I'll like put it in the description after. All right. So I think we have to do this one. This is on Stella O'Malley's I lost a ton of people watching. Lol. This is on her Substack. Okay, let's first peruse the length of this. It's not that long. I'm just going to refresh my brain. There was like some tweet that had like 4 things that they contested in this. Okay, so before we get going, FactFem on Twitter. I guess I can just show it to you. The wrong page. This fucking camera. Hello. No, that's not happening. Okay. So FactFam on Twitter looked at this, and these were her issues with it. Number 1, she's conflating sexual arousal with self-confidence. Number 2, she's conflating wearing things associated with sex versus everyday clothes. And 3, she's confusing the locus of arousal being internal by the self versus the external by knowing the partner will like it. And 4, she's conflating male and female sexuality. Yeah. So things to keep in mind while we read. Just gonna switch screens here. All right. So for those of you who don't know, I made a whole stream about, well, this topic generally. Probably the better way to see it would be I've made clips on Twitter where Stella O'Malley says, okay, so Stella is like, I guess I can make this. Okay, gonna have like 2 minutes to set this up. This fucking camera piece of shit. Focus. I cannot believe I spent like $120 on this camera. There we go. All right. So Stella is in conversation with this dude whose name I forgot because he doesn't matter, obviously. She's like, people didn't like that we had Phil Illy there. People didn't like that he was wearing a dress. Then she's like, well, you know, we can't enforce gender roles. What do you want us to do? Make a dress code? In that case, we'd have to force him to wear pants and force all the women to wear women's clothes. She's like, imagine the impact it would have on the lesbians who wear men's clothes. And P.S., I mean, obviously I'm like putting in my own words. P.S., there are a bunch of lesbians who get off on wearing men's clothes. They get a sexual charge from wearing men's clothes. I was like, what? Like, I mean, I made a whole stream about it. That's like hours long. So, you know, go watch that. I have many issues with this, obviously. Seems really lesbophobic. And at the end of the day, the reason she said it, actually, she doesn't give a shit about lesbians. The reason she said it was like as a gotcha, to kind of be like, ooh, so you don't want a man to wear a dress. That means that like women have to also like wear gendered clothing. And it's like no one actually gives a shit about men wearing gender non-conforming clothing or not. Because I would contest even the concept of men's clothes and women's clothes to begin with, right? Like I said in that stream. The issue is that this man wrote a book about his fetish and that he likes getting public attention for dressing in this specific way because it fulfills his fetishistic needs. And then he went out in public and fucking did that with your endorsement. That was the issue. So making a gotcha out of the lesbians who don't like that because we like role play as men or whatever fucking terminology she used. I was like, dude, Carol, she's not ignorant. She's malicious. At least I think so. Seawolf says, I enjoyed your analysis yesterday. Thank you. Okay, so let's read this apology now. Okay, so like everybody fucking weighed in on this. Isolt, who like what's her Twitter name? Isolt of Ireland or something. She wrote a bunch of stuff about it, which is what got my attention. She was in the live stream when I did that. Martina Navratilova retweeted it, being like, this is lesbophobic. Like tons of fucking high profile people, like not me, like actual high profile people, women, were like, the fuck is that? Then obviously you had whichever Aaron it was, basically being like, well, some lesbians do get turned on by cross-dressing. And I was like, bro, irrelevant. And also, what the fuck? Like, I'm sure there are, but it's like a very specific thing that they do like when they're in the bedroom. It's not like they go out in the world like, oh look, people see me wearing a pair of jeans. Oh, I'm so turned on. Like that's not what's happening. Beanspread says she and Sasha have a bad track record on anything outside of hetero. They made a trope or jokes out of bisexual women, quote unquote, partying their pants and then put quote unquote bi/pan to be nice, include everyone. Yeah. Okay, so let's read this like non-apology apology. No, I guess I should like be in the image somewhere. Where's the thing here? Is this the one? Or is this, I think this is the one. Let's do this one. All right. The intricacies of sex and clothing. My attempt to apologize, fucking right. Clarified, give some context to certain issues that have become very heightened. Okay, why does your ellipses have 3 periods instead, like 4 periods instead of 3? I don't like that. It's like yesterday when I was saying that the Bill guy wasn't using enough commas. Please, like, fucking, I dropped out of college and you didn't. Like, what's your excuse? Right off the bat, she's doing the thing where she's calling us stupid, right? Because I can understand both sides of the like using pronouns, not using pronouns debate, right? I think there are some times when you should use preferred pronouns. For example, if you're a journalist who wants to get published and you know it's not going to get past your editor if you don't do that, right? But Stella's position was that anyone who doesn't use preferred pronouns is too stupid to hold the reality and the fiction in their mind at the same time. And I was like, thanks, bro. She also, something else later in the stream that she basically said, like, radical feminists were too stupid to understand something. So right off the bat with this title, the intricacies of sex and clothing. So she's just trying to say that we're too stupid to understand. Yeah, I totally agree with this too, Bean Sprouts. Like, I think Stella/Jen Specht should stop talking about lesbians/bi women, full stop. Yeah. So, like, everything they do centers AGPs. And then they're like, oh, we'll make it up to the women for feeling left out. We'll invent complete bullshit about them and say, like, look, we mentioned you. Like, that's not, that you're digging the hole, man. Like, stop doing that. Okay, so let's read this shit. Oh, also, my friend just texted me and then she's like, oh my god, you're streaming. I'm so sorry. Like, it's fine. Okay. Oh my god, there's like food on my shirt. The fuck? Well, and today was laundry day, so I missed it. Okay. Sex is weird. Wow, the mind boggles. What insight. What turns you on is probably different to what turns me on. Some people might get a charge from wearing high heels and a short skirt. Others might get a sexual charge out of wearing a sharp-looking suit. I don't think anyone should be ashamed for this. People should be free to wear whatever clothes they want so long as it is within the bounds of decency. So she's like completely sidestepping the actual issue, which is that, like, wear what clothes you want. Don't tell us that it's fetish gear and then wear your fetish gear in front of us. Like, I think adult diapers are probably a good example of this, right? So obviously there are like adults with incontinence who wear diapers, okay? Then you have the Sophie Labelles of the world, which is a Montreal Tim, who wears a diaper with a skirt so that he can like pull up his skirt and show the public that he's wearing a diaper. These two acts, a person with incontinence wearing a diaper and a fetishist wearing a diaper, are not congruous. She's just trying to say people should wear what they want. And that's it. That's not the fucking problem, is that people should wear what they want or anything they want. We need to protect the right. Again, nobody's coming after your rights. No one is changing the law. Like, fucking back down, like a false person said. Like, why did you jump there? We need to protect the right to be sexual beings. Dude, no one is saying that, like, if you want to be alone in your room and wear clothes that helps you jerk off, like, do that. Like, no one gives a fuck. Don't do it in public in front of us. Of course, some women get aroused by wearing a strap-on. So what? Why shouldn't they? Yes, but that's not what you said. You said by wearing men's clothes. That's not what a strap was. That's two different things. Equally, some women, straight and gay, get turned on by wearing lingerie. Again, so what? Okay, when a woman wears lingerie, I wouldn't know personally, but I can imagine. When a woman wears lingerie under her regular clothes, it's like for later. She's not like, OMG, I wore my lacy bra today. So now for the whole day while I'm out getting my groceries and taking the bus, I'm going to be turned on. When a woman wears lingerie, it's so that like later when she takes it off and she's anticipating sex, then she can feel sexy. Like, you know, Carol says a strap-on is not clothes. Yeah. No gimp suits at the conference. Maple says, the old some women get wet from wearing high heels argument that does not apply to reality whatsoever. Okay. It's perfectly fine for people to experience sexual arousal from whatever turns them on. Although sex can be damaging and hurtful, it can also be fun and beautiful. Good sex is great. Okay, irrelevant. Irrelevant. No one was having public sex at the GenSpect conference. Again, you're trying to get us off the point. Of course, it's good for people to have sex. Of course, it's good for people to experience arousal. Do I care about men having good sex? Obviously not. They should stop having sex with women because apparently they're really bad at it and they're constantly traumatizing them. So, like, don't do that. Irrelevant. Let's go with her example. Let's say a woman gets aroused by wearing a strap-on. First of all, I don't think usually it's wearing the strap-on that gets them turned on. It's like what they can do to their partner with it. But like, seeing as she clearly has never had a conversation with a lesbian, I guess she wouldn't know that. But let's go with that. So a woman gets aroused by wearing a strap-on. Great. Do you think that's something she should be doing in public at a conference? No. End of. Good for her. Have your sex. Experience your arousal. All that shit. Seawolf says she's calling women prudes. I very much agree with that. Beansprout says, locus of arousal. I don't wear lacy lingerie when with partners who I know don't get excited by that stuff. Yeah, that's the other thing too. It's like, I kind of mentioned this in my stream on Friday about Stella, where I was like, doing something that gets your partner excited is not the same as doing something that gets yourself excited. Yeah, I agree with you basically. Okay. Who wears a velvet evening gown to a conference? Yeah, it's very like when you can tell that an adult AGP went shopping at Claire's or Ardene's for all their clothes because they're trying to look like a teenager. But this guy is just like more highbrow about it. So instead of trying to look like a teenage girl, he's trying to look like, I don't know, a 1960s housewife who's like at a formal event or something. I don't fucking know. Prudes, purity spiraling, a theme. Okay, I need to drink water. So yeah, we can all agree sex is great, irrelevant. Women's sexuality is seldom a danger to others, and so we can be pretty easygoing about their choice of attire. Okay, but again, like the amount of male sexuality has a really big visual component to it that women's sexuality generally does not. I'm not a sexologist, but like as far as I understand it, that's the case. So when men wear fetish gear, it's for a very specific reason, and for them it has an immediate impact. Women, when they wear like sexy clothes or like sexy like accessories or something, they're doing it for their partner. Like it's just completely irrelevant. Like this is not a thing. Male sexual expression, however, can be very dangerous, and so we need to be a good deal more wary about it in this context. Dude, you are the one saying that women were being oversensitive and overreacting for no reason and getting emotional about nothing. I think she actually used that word, like women were getting emotional or over-emotional or something in her interview. Now you're saying, oh, it makes sense for women. And also in the interview, she said women who've been hurt by men are like hypersensitive to them and they need to calm down. There's something to that effect. Like women, because they've been hurt by men, they can be like wary of all men, but they shouldn't be. Like she said something to that effect in the interview on Sunday, and now she's saying like, no, like that's understandable. I'm on your side. Like what the fuck? Nonetheless, a world where people's clothing is policed is not a world I want to live in. No one is trying to police clothing. They're trying to police your sexual exhibitionism. Is it actually? Is this what it was? Blue Velvet's a lesbian movie too, right? I'm thinking of Blue is Warmest Color. I don't know what Blue Velvet, I don't know what that movie's about. Okay. This is perhaps why I was so taken aback by the huge outcry over Phil Illy wearing a blue ball gown. Okay, for a ball gown, it was pretty damn fucking short, I gotta say. Vulnerable, neurodiverse girls and boys are having medical intervention. Oh my fucking god, with her savior complex. No conversation can be had without her interrupting the conversation to point out that she's saving all the children in the world. Vulnerable, neurodiverse girls and boys are having medical interventions that they are likely to regret for the rest of their lives. Kids are being groomed into sexualized identities. Families are being ripped asunder. Asunder, bro. That's like pretty dramatic language there. I didn't believe that Phil wearing a ball gown while identifying as a man, using the male toilets, and attempting to promote honest conversations about autogynephilia was a reason to let slip the dogs of war. Bro, the language. Let slip the dogs of war. Calm your fucking shit, man. Like I said, it's the internet. People are gonna react however the fuck they want. Like, calm down. Also, it was reported, I don't know if it's true, I'm just saying this is what I heard, that he was staying at a women's hostel while at this conference, or he has stayed at a women's hostel before. So it may be that while he was at the GenSpect conference, he used the men's washroom. But it doesn't seem that that's generally like his rule. Oh, great. Blue Velvet is a David Lynch film, and yes, there is implied PDF content. Great. Yeah, Carol says, if I would have been there, I would have thrown a fit. Glad I stopped interacting with her and GenSpect. Okay, that's another thing. Let's talk about that for a sec. So, GenSpect, I think they even said in like, Stella said in a tweet today or yesterday or something, where she was like, GenSpect is not here for the feminism. GenSpect is here for like the D-trans, something to this effect. Maybe it wasn't her. Someone said this today. And I was like, okay, let's go with that. If you're here for like the D-transes, imagine. Let's be male identified for a sec. Trigger warning. Imagine you are a D-trans man and you have AGP and you have like come out of that mindset and you're doing better and whatever the fuck, I don't know. And you go to this GenSpect conference and you're walking down the hallway and you see a man clearly engaging in his fetish. Wouldn't that be upsetting to you as a man with AGP who's doing his best to not do that in public anymore? It's obviously not the first place my mind goes, but I'm like, this is Stella's thing to associate, constantly over empathize with men. So like, let's do that. Okay, now let's do like what I actually think when I first saw this shit. Imagine you are a D-trans woman of any sexual orientation who has spent time in the trans community, who has been forced to endure the sexual oversharing and predation. Like, when I say predation, I don't mean like somebody physically assaulted you, because that obviously does happen, but I mean literally just being around these Tims in the trans community, like constantly talking about porn, constantly joking about their sexual like histories, like constantly like, you know, oh, I had sex wearing this skirt, like whatever, like constantly like, you know, subjected to this shit. Say you're a D-trans woman of any sexual orientation, you go to the GenSpect conference, and this is what you're confronted with. Would you feel like you're in a place that's comfortable, and that was designed for you to be comfortable? Like, it's just. Lavender says both Sierra and Stella have no compassion for the victims of gender. Yeah, I'm like, if you genuinely, like, doesn't she have also like an advisory board of D-trans people or something? Like, I don't know all of their politics or whatever. Was I on it at one point? No, that was a different organization. Lol. But if someone asked me, what can I do to make this event comfortable for detransitioners? I wouldn't say you can't allow in Tims, because how the fuck can you enforce that? But I would definitely say, don't go out of your way to fucking invite men who are going to be practicing their fetishes in front of everyone. So, I don't know. This whole thing is just like, I'm with you there, Carol. It reminds me of, who the fuck was it? I can't remember her name. I know when LGBT Alliance had their first, like, big party thing in Edinburgh, I think, or Glasgow, that there was a lesbian there. Can't remember her fucking name. And she walked straight up to, I think it's Debbie Hayton, and was like, why the fuck are you here? I could be misremembering the facts. Basically, there was a lesbian there who walked straight up to a Tim and was like, why the fuck are you here? This is a place for like homosexuals. You are a straight man who is cross-dressing. This is not the place for you. When I saw this photo of this Phil Illy at this conference, and it's supposed to be a place for gender critical people, I was like, where is like the confrontation moment? Like, exactly like Carol said, if I had been there and seen this, I would have been like, I'm not okay with this. I'm going to say something to him, to the organizers, something. I mean, obviously, if you got there, it seems like, as I've learned from being on the internet in the last few days, it seems that, yes, Julia Long at LGBT Alliance 2022, that is what I'm trying to talk about. Thank you. If you went, it seems that you would have known that Stella and apparently multiple panelists were all promoting this guy in his book. But still, I'm just like, yeah. Okay, let's get back to the apology, non-apology. Oh, it was someone else, not Hayden. Okay, whatever. I don't remember who it was. Okay. Oh, wait, we're doing it this way. Okay. Oh my god, the next sentence is also bullshit. I realize that I have underestimated the level of fear there is about AGP. It's not that we're scared of it or we don't understand it. She always goes on about this, how if we just understood, we wouldn't be so scared. First of all, isn't her entire fucking brand at this point about we need to normalize it so that it has less stigma, because the stigma is leading to the transition or some crap like that? So that entire thing is predicated on the fact that it is an unknown that creeps people out. So she clearly does know that it's an unknown that creeps people out. But irrelevant, because it's not like the women who were, unhappy about this didn't know what AGP was and was like the first time confronted with it were in a state of shock. The women who were upset about this were again just saying no. Yeah, we need to understand. We are disgusted by male depravity, as we should be. Exactly. I don't like how the entire tone of this apology is that, like, we just don't understand and she understands. However, I still believe that the only way to resolve this issue is by shining some sunlight on it. Why sunlight? That's very bad. Shining some sunlight, that's very bad phraseology. I don't like that. We need to raise public awareness about AGP so that the public can recognize it and consequently be better equipped to make sure that others aren't unknowingly being subjected to inappropriate sexual behavior. That's the fucking point. Yeah, Stella, exactly. Yeah. So the problem is that all of these women do know what AGP is, and they all know that this man said it was his fetish, and they all know that this man said that he got satisfaction out of being able to practice his fetish in public. So they were like, this is quote unquote inappropriate sexual behavior. And they were not unknowingly subjected to it, they were knowingly subjected to it, and they were not okay with that. Thank you, Maple, for that. I cannot even with this shit. So she starts off by being like, you don't understand. And then she starts off, and then now at this point, like we're like halfway through and she's on our side. Okay. I'm going to try reading entire paragraphs before I do responses just because it's like this taking so long. This seems to have led to a general suspicion of me as a person who is somehow trying to sanitize or normalize autogynephilia. Bro, it's your entire fucking brand. I'm not. I'm trying to raise public awareness so that autogynephilia is as recognizable as any other common paraphilias. What? Does she think that people are walking around with like a list of like the most common fetishes and wondering if men are doing it like on a day-to-day basis? I think that's pretty weird. Like that's okay, whatever. While the world doesn't need to know about lesser-known paraphilias, for example, amorophilia, where the focus of the erotic interest is on being unable to see, or anthropophagny, where the focus is on ingesting human flesh. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. Why would you even... Why? We do need to know about the common ones, such as exhibitionism, frauderism, voyeurism, and autogynephilia, as you need to be able to protect people from inappropriate behavior. Bro, we know about exhibitionism. We know about frauderism. We know about voyeurism. And we know about autogynephilia. And you know what we know? Because we know these things? No. We know that this man was doing it in fucking public in front of us. That's what we know. So, like, thanks but no thanks, we already know. We don't need to be informed. This one. Lavender says she sounds like a lib femme advocating no kink shaming. Mm-hmm. Hello, Jonard. Useless is like, she can't be that dumb. She is that dumb. Beanspro says this is all just blah, 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 gaslighting. Where's the fudging apology? Exactly. My good. That's the same question. Another suspicion about me is that I could be homophobic. Correction. No one said you were homophobic. Everyone said you were lesbophobic because you're a misogynist and you have exhibited lesbophobia on multiple occasions. So here she's trying to generalize so that she can probably say that she's friends with a gay guy or something. Okay. This is because of 2 posts I made on Twitter. Also, I'm not calling it X. That's fucking stupid. I'm calling it Twitter. I've been on Twitter since like 2010 or some shit. I'm not like, this is no. The first was in a conversation with a linguist. Ooh, this person has credentials, so whatever is about to happen is an intellectual situation that we can't judge because we're too stupid. Where I earnestly asked why gay men have similar voice patterns as women. And then why would you put the link like this? Can you not like select this and then like input the link as like a thing that you can click on in the words? Why the fuck is it like this? What's going on? Okay. I forgot to include the words some in this offhand tweet, and consequently, I was piled on for being homophobic. Again, fucking irrelevant. I do not fucking care. For anyone interested, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. Okay, whatever. Also, why do you need to ask a linguist on Twitter about this? This is like, isn't this common knowledge that it's like a thing about signaling who they're sexually attracted to, whether they're aware of it or not? So they start doing it when they're young and it becomes like part of their... Am I wrong? Is this not a common knowledge? You're a psychologist. Do you not have like a place you can like type in like a search to get this information? Okay, whatever. Lesbians are calling me homophobic, aka lesbophobic, but not me. Those lesbians are wrong about my lesbophobia. Exactly. The second was an interview with Travis Brown. Now we know the forgettable guy moron's name, where I pointed out that many lesbians, okay, so you doubled down in your apology. Good job. Many lesbians get a sexual charge out of wearing certain clothes. Again, I contest this many lesbians. I think that most lesbians, when they wear gender non-conforming clothes, they're kind of trying to like desexualize their appearance. Yeah, like I would actually argue it's the opposite, at least among the like many lesbians I've talked to and spent time around. Like, okay. Maybe this is another thing of her being dumb and not understanding the distinction between like the, what was the words? The locus of arousal, where it's like there are like women who are really into butches. So when they see a woman wearing like a tool belt and like a flannel, they're like, oh my God, my heart, like I want to be with that woman. It doesn't mean when the woman puts on a flannel and a tool belt, she's like, it's sex time. Like, like, bro. The Bikini Chick says this is not a fucking apology, especially not to butch lesbians. Yeah. Tucson says Sierra agreed with Stella about the sexual charge. She was butthurt that trans men weren't considered. Oh, so fucking stupid. So fucking stupid. I was saying this in a bid to promote people's right to wear any clothes they want. No, you weren't. You were saying it as a gotcha to say, oh, women, you're complaining about this man being gender nonconforming. Well, wouldn't it be horrible if I forced you to be gender conforming? That was the whole point, that she was trying to gotcha the GCs that were upset at her. So what if people are experiencing sexual arousal in certain contexts? Oh my God. We are sexual beings. You know, shit. However, I should have probably said that many women get a sexual charge out of wearing certain clothing. I'm not sure the phrase can't do right for doing wrong comes to right. Okay. Oh, this self-righteousness. It's like just out of this world. Oh my God. When J.K. Rowling made her famous tweet, I liked and shared because I happily agreed with her. I had no idea that a large contingent of gender critical people didn't actually agree with J.K. Rowling's tweet. Okay, now you're okay. So the people, the women who didn't like Phil Illy being at this conference in his fetish gear, especially taking photos with what they viewed as like younger, vulnerable women while he was wearing his fetish gear, were by and large radical feminists. The quote unquote gender critical people, aka the gender traditionalists who are anti-trans, who do not agree with gender nonconformity, are all conservatives or neoconservatives or something to that effect. They are not the people who are mad at you. She's conflating two groups with each other to try to say like, well, you're all gender conservatives and I'm not. The fact that during this interview she used the term men's clothing and women's clothing with zero like self-awareness actually shows that she is one of the gender conservatives. The main point of JK's tweet is consent. I did, though. I thought it was a brilliant tweet because it was underpinned by the principles of liberal enlightenment. Oh yeah, because she's so enlightened, which I reckoned are beneficial for society. Why is this lowercase I? Did no one edit this? I don't like this. Dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, sleep with any consenting adult who'll have you. Live your best life in peace and security, but force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real? Yeah. Illy said that women were too hostile to male sexuality. This is so harsh. Lita said, she is supposed to be an expert, yet here we are. Yeah. Very, very true. Like, I want to know if any woman other than Erin was like, this is great. Everything you said is accurate. Okay. I deeply regret. Oh, so this is the fake apology part. Well, that's your right, Sabrina. Okay. This is like the non-apology apology part. I deeply regret that people might think that I'm homophobic. Okay, so she doesn't regret what she said or how it was taken. Like, she doesn't regret what she said or the spirit behind what she said. She just regrets people got upset about it. So, like, instead of being like, oh, I'm sorry I punched you, being like, oh, I'm sorry I made you cry. It's like, I deeply regret that people might think that I'm homophobic or that I want to promote autogynephilia. Dude, you definitely want to promote autogynephilia. You never shut the fuck up about it. None of this is true. I evidently do not communicate as clearly as I should. I'm genuinely very sorry for all the hurt I have caused and really saddened by the fact that I have caused this hurt. You know what this is giving me? This is giving when Grand Linehan was like, I'm crying on camera because you're upset. Not because of anyone's actions or anyone's words. I'm sad that you're sad. So, like, stop being sad so I can stop being sad, please. That's what this is giving. Beanstar says so she gets to decide if she's not homophobic, if she's homophobic or not. I do agree that Bedroom Boys is extremely creepy. She's all about projecting AGP into kids. Yeah. Okay, so now we're back to the hero complex thing. I work very hard and my output is considerable. Right, so she's too important to bother with not being lesbophobic. Therefore, I hope any mistakes I make are understood in the context of my body of work and general message, rather than each post or half sentence being taken to represent all of my views on any given issue. Dude, if you look at like a 10-minute clip that has that in it, the entire context is used as a gotcha for like women. You don't want this guy to wear fetish gear. That means then she leaps. That means you want men to be gender conforming. Then she leaps. Haha, wouldn't it be funny if you were forced to be gender conforming, like you want this man to be gender conforming? Like, that's the context. We know the context. Like, yeah. I would like to clarify and clear up any misunderstandings so that if you have any questions that you would like me to answer, please put them in the comments. However, I have been the subject of a prolonged and extensive smear campaign that has gone on for over 5 years now. That's called existing on the internet, lady. I have been smeared by a lot of people. I've had to block people. I've been harassed by people. I've had porn and death threats and rape threats sent to me. That's called being a woman on the internet, man. I'm not trying to say it's like good or that you deserve it or something. I'm just saying acting like all of this is just because everyone doesn't agree with you because like you're some victim is really stupid. This is how the internet works, okay? And so I will call out any lies, and I will not engage in bad faith arguments. It's pretty rich coming from you. And yes, what this one? Men wearing fetish gear is hardly GNC. Yeah, I mean there was a lot of leaps in that whole gotcha thing. The lines of this the lines of the poet Rumi come to mind. I really don't want to read this poem. I'm gonna read the poem. You better fucking appreciate. Send me a bunch of super chats. Okay. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in the grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. If you like read it like slam poetry, it's too late. I need like a tambourine or like one of those like rain sticks or something. Okay. They're all bad faith arguments. Apology, non-apology, yeah. We're so clipping this. Yeah, I'm gonna open Twitter tomorrow. There'll be all these clips of me reading this fucking poem. Okay. I hate that poem. Are you familiar? I've never heard of this fucking guy before this poem. Each other makes perfect sense. Yeah. Okay. Final paragraph. I guess I am pretty overexposed, and people are sick of me talking, and that brings about its own problems. Yes. If you have so much fucking work to do saving the children because no one else can do it like you can, go fucking do that. And stop trying to do all this PR shit online. I actually don't understand how your organization has not hired a PR person, a social media officer, or some crap who does all of this. Why are you doing this? Why? Go do your psychology things. Like, who else is involved in GenSpec? Lisa Marciano and Stella O'Malley? I mean, Lisa Marciano and Sasha Ayad. They're not in front of the camera every 5 fucking seconds. Like, Beansprout says most of the experts they have on a wider lens are men. Unsurprising. Okay, let's finish reading this. Yeah. And people are sick of me talking, and that brings about its own problems. But it all stems from an earnest urge to try to stop a massive medical scandal that is unfolding as we speak, right? So the next time a woman puts on a strap on and gets turned on, she should stop and think, what would Stella O'Malley think of this? And how does this impact the children? Bro, fucking like the next time a woman sees a man in fetish gear and goes, stop, I don't like that. She should stop and think, whoa, how is this impacting the work of Stella O'Malley? Like, what the fuck? It would be great if we could try to overcome differences and try to pull together even when we disagree. Oh my God. She's also like, in general, there are many, in general, there are many criticisms of what Gen Spect is doing and how they're doing it and who they're doing it with, right? Like, Carol is in the live chat. She used to be like, you should support them. And now she's like, no, I don't support them. And it's not because Carol is just some kind of massive asshole who one day was like, fuck you guys. She was like, no, I've been watching what you're doing, and what you're doing is creeping me out. So like, she's trying to say that all of the issues that everyone has with her are basically because they've misunderstood. Okay, my biggest thing about this, aside from the fact that she keeps like hopping to other things and not actually addressing what she said, is that she was like, how can you call me homophobic when I love the gay men? And she never addresses that she, like, the actual lesbophobia. Like, no. I think this is the final statement of the stream. Will understanding Illy's gender boner better stop a single child from being medicalized? And you know, that's the meaning of Christmas. I don't know. Like, yeah, good question. Email me, Sabrina. We can talk on like Discord or Skype or something. Okay, so this has been a stream that we did. If you want to make clips of me for Twitter, totally do that. Just can you like at me or like make the tweet and post it, and then like after that like at me in like the comment, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to know what you guys, when you talk about me, like if you're like one of like the watchers who likes my stuff and you talk about me on the internet, like involve me. You know, getting back into the internet after being off of it is kind of weird. Yeah. Mabel says y'all crack me up. Lol. What's my Twitter? Oh, my Twitter is that's my Twitter. Stella has chronic foot and mouth disease. Lol, yeah. Flannel and a tool belt. It's sex time. Yeah, so I put my Twitter and my email in the live chat. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so my next scheduled stream is on Wednesday, noon Eastern time, which is 3 p.m. Pacific time, which is 5 p.m. GMT. And we are going to read, I think, the first half of the last chapter of Femininity by Susan Brown Miller. And then I think, it is Valentine's Day. I was kind of like, should we do something for the Valentine's Day? And then I was like, how about we ignore it? That's my special thing for Valentine's Day, is ignoring it. Yeah. Oh, happy birthday, Lavender. Are you close to your croning, Lavender? How old are you? I heard about this croning thing, and I want to be croned when I turn 60. It's like when you graduate to being an elder. I mean, kind of. 9 a.m. Pacific time. Oh. Wait, really? I'll be 60, 64. Will you still love me? Yeah, man. Okay, I'm gonna go. Thanks so much for tuning in. Obviously, as usual, hit me up on Twitter or email me if you have something you want me to talk about. I have 2 other things in my email or inbox on Twitter that I'm like, those would be good for a stream, but I don't really plan these streams. So this week I'm gonna try to be really strict with myself. No streams unless I've done all my work and all my chores. So see you on Wednesday. I'll see you on Friday. And then maybe next weekend we'll do like a kind of like reaction live stream. Yeah, so I'm gonna put the timestamp for the topic change, which was 137, into the thing. I'm gonna put a link to Stella's Substack, and then I guess I should put my email and my Twitter in the description too. All right. Well, you all have a great night or crack of dawn, where depending where you are. I guess for the Brits it's like 3 a.m. Useless says I have had such a lovely time with you, lovely lot, laughing my tits off. Yeah. Like, you know, to keep it lighthearted. How else are we gonna get through this, especially while trying to stay sober? All right. You all have a great night. I'll see you on Wednesday.